So how are we going to mitigate bias in utilizing artificial intelligence if we don't, as IO psychologists, work with coders to build these robots? How are we going to ensure data protection if we don't, as IO psychologists, work with our HR department to strip that data and make it anonymous? And how can we ensure a human-centric design if we're not the ones in the room designing artificial intelligence? So again, what I want you to walk away from is there could potentially be a brand new arm of IO psychology. And I think it's building artificial intelligence to make our organizations better. That's what I think artificial intelligence can do for us. No longer are we just focused on, is our focus organizational design and all of those things? It is, but we're now in partnership with coders. That's the idea. So I actually see us pivoting from being partners with HR to being partners with the coders and data scientists, which is what I talk about here. IO psychology is going to bridge, the future of IO psychology is bridging the gap between what was IO psychology in the 1900s to data science today. So IO psychology in the 21st century is more about how are we leveraging artificial intelligence to do the mundane. How are we leveraging artificial intelligence to be our sewing machine? So we can then execute organizational change with a more human-centered psychological component that's more bespoke to each human instead of generic. So what does that mean? We need to have skills like data literacy. We need to be completely ethically aware of what's happening. So when we talk about data literacy, that means when we collect data, how are we going to have AI process that data for us? How are we going to tell the data scientists to build the robot to ensure we get the data we need for that particular organization? And how are we going to make sure our people know that we are collecting the data with their security and their privacy in mind? Because it is important for us to make sure that their data privacy is not going to be, there will be no breach, and they will not be identified. So how do we ensure that? That's our job. We want to make sure that we get our employees' consent. So all of these onboarding documents, we want to make sure that when we create an artificial intelligence program, or when people are onboarded or existing employees are aware that their data is being used anonymously. When we talk about a human-centric approach, it means that we are working in tandem with artificial intelligence, not being replaced by artificial intelligence. We talked about building a change strategy that's specific to the organization and that will actually ensure success. And we want to ensure that inside of our organization, there's artificial intelligence literacy. What we need to make sure we do is train our people on what artificial intelligence is, not just ChatGPT and prompt things. It is actually there are certifications, there are courses, there are things that we can train our employees on how to leverage artificial intelligence and make it work for us, not against us. So I see I have like 5 minutes, so we're going to talk really quickly. I'm going to wrap up and talk about we are collaborating with scientists. We're going to develop future skills like data literacy and artificial intelligence literacy, and we want to build trust in artificial intelligence by ensuring privacy and by ensuring that people's information is anonymous. So I promised a couple of case studies, and let's talk about them really quickly. So My client, Amgen Biopharmaceuticals, just in Thousand Oaks, California, is leveraging artificial intelligence for their regulatory filings. If anybody knows what regulatory filings are, when an organization like Amgen Biopharmaceuticals creates a new drug, they need to go through an entire regulatory process to get the drug passed to be distributed in different in different countries. Okay, so these are drugs that have already gone through clinical trials. They've posed really good results. Now they want to go to market. So Amgen has to create a team of authors who create the actual documentation by country, and yes, it is different for each country. You need a team to review, you need a team to submit, you need a team to publish. What that used to take was 224 weeks. Leveraging artificial intelligence, it takes 24 weeks. Amgen Biopharmaceuticals was spending billions of dollars in regulatory filing, and today they don't have an exact number of savings, but they'll be in the millions. And what that means is they're now giving all these, so authors, reviewers, as I worked with them, authors were senior vice presidents in the organization. Reviewers were senior managers. Submitters were also senior vice presidents. And publishers were directors. These are major salaries that they are spending every year to submit a new drug to market. And it's so costly, they don't know yet how much it's actually going to save them. Because the same person who authors, that team has someone else author it too, and by that they mean they read it to ensure the authoring is correct. Artificial intelligence will do that much faster. I have a local philanthropy with whom I work that's actually leveraging artificial intelligence to write grants. They get submissions every day for a local nonprofit wanting a grant from them. And they spend so much money utilizing human resources to sift through those applications. What they're going to do is start to leverage artificial intelligence to sift through those applications and then help the nonprofit write the grant, which makes their job that much faster and more efficient and less biased. They don't even know yet how efficient they're going to be, and they don't even know yet how much money it's going to save them. That's how early it is. I could talk about Unilever, but that's a whole other organization that I want to say really quickly. They leveraged all of the recruitment tactics for artificial intelligence that we talked about at the very early part of our session today, and they reduced their hiring process by 75%. And they increased the diversity numbers based on the unbiased choices. So I think I left 3 minutes for you guys to ask questions, and then I'll tell you how to find me on social. Thank you very much for your